Where does one start when it comes to tenders?
You start by looking within. Startups think that tenders are an income opportunity. And tenders are just delivery obligations. They're just all about, can you execute and meet the client's expectation?
Many South African entrepreneurs dream about winning government tenders. Some even start businesses for the sole purpose of bidding for tenders. R1 million contract can look like the breakthrough that changes everything. But the reality is that tenders are not a shortcut to success. They are execution contracts that expose whether your business is actually ready. In this clip, we unpack how tendering really works, the compliance and the credibility you require before you even bid, and the costly mistake many businesses make when they bid for bigger tenders. And as a bonus, we show you how to find the right tender for your business, what the tender bid process looks like, and how to set yourself up to deliver successfully.
When you are ready to go into tendering, you've, like you said, built a track record, which means that we can actually refer to what you have done. You have a bit of history, some skin in the game. And that's why I often say that when entrepreneurs want to get into tenders, before you go into the long-term contracts, you have to start with the most basics, the RFQs, which is supply and delivery. That literally is, So you can get some skin in the game, understand the pricing, use that as practice. But no, Lerato simply just wants that R1 million tender, that 3-year contract without doing the work. And tenders, like funding, are not some magic wand that can fix all your problems. It's not for you to make money. It's for you to deliver what you said that you can deliver on. So I think one of the mistakes is that thinking when you enter tendering, thinking that it's a get out of poverty card. Yeah, that's not how it works. When a company is ready to tender, it is compliant, number one, and it has proven that it can execute to a level that it can actually maintain and sustain long-term contracts and service a client for the long run.
Compliant. What does that mean? What does it mean to be compliant as a business before you tender? What are the things that, let's assume there's a municipality that's issued out a cleaning contract.
Yeah.
What will they look for when it comes to assessing the bid, when it comes to compliance?
Yeah. So before we even get into what they look for, 80% of businesses who bid get disqualified on a compliance level. That is the first way they can actually filter all of you and say, okay, you're going to deal with serious people. So compliance gives you the first step of credibility. So compliance is your CIPC, those annual returns, your company is not deregistered, it's still active, and your beneficial ownership is up to date. Second thing is your tax. Third thing is your BEE. Fourth thing, if relevant, those industry regulations, those industry bodies, those registrations are up to date, right? And all of this comes together on CSD. That report tells your story, so we're able to filter and quantify exactly, are you a serious entrepreneur that we can even waste our time sending a bid to, right? So the disqualification phase goes beyond before you even receive the email of the RFQ being open.
What is CSD?
So CSD is a central supplier database that houses all of the suppliers that want to trade with the government, all that information for public sector procurement. So your municipalities, national, provincial governments, SOEs, the agents. Yeah. So all of the state entities, they look for suppliers to trade with on the CSD.
And how do you go about registering? Is it quite a difficult process? What are the requirements?
So it's fairly easy. I'd say that one thing about government systems is they are quite user-friendly. It's just that on the back end, something goes wrong there within their spaces where you find that the system is glitching, it's slow. But from a user perspective, it's quite easy. You just have to upload all your supply information, the general compliance, your bank account, BE, tax, what else? Yes.
Probably your company registration
Company
documents.
registration documents.
And I'm assuming bank information.
Yes, so bank information, and if you are registered with any regulatory body, your CIRA, your SAPRA, whatever it is, then you can also upload there.
What I've also noticed, and I don't know if it's widespread, Eskom have started issuing RFQs directly through the CSD portal. I'm not sure how they used to do it, but that goes to show that in order for you to fund an Eskom tender or bid on an Eskom tender, you would actually need to have a CSD profile and be able to access those RFQs within that CSD profile. Is that a widespread thing? Is that a recent change?
It has been a recent change. They announced it at the beginning of 2024 that they're going to abolish their internal procurement system because of corruption, loopholes, wastage, leakages on their end. So now they have transferred everything onto CSD. So on CSD, there is a tab called My RFQ, and they are the first SOE to actually roll out RFQs on there. So most of the RFQs that you will see on My RFQ will come from Eskom, provided that your CSD profile is optimized in a way to receive any electrical, Eskom related RFQs in order for you to service Eskom as a client.
You mentioned BEE as well. What are the requirements or expectations when it comes to BEE? I've heard of BEE certificates, maybe affidavits. What does the government expect when it comes to BEE to be legible to qualify for a tender?
So it expects about 3 types of documents. One is that the BEE certificate that you attain from CIPC. Number 2, you can have a sworn affidavit that you can upload there. Number 3, a certificate that is obtainable from any agency that is able to provide BEE statuses. So they accept one of the 3 here.
And are all tenders available within CSD right now? If you want to search for, so let's use the Lerato cleaning business again. If you're looking for a cleaning tender, are you able to go into CSD and search for that tender, or is it not sitting in there yet?
We are building new dams, upgrading existing infrastructure. We have committed 156 billion rand in public funding for water and sanitation infrastructure over the next 3 years.
You've heard the number, 156 billion rand for water infrastructure. You've got a business that could support that. But here's the real question. Where on earth do you even start looking for the right opportunity for your business? Because this is where most small businesses get stuck. They hear the budget, they feel the excitement, and then nothing. They don't know where to look. They don't know what's live. They don't know what fits them. So let me show you something practical. This is TenderCentral, powered by Sourcefin. Instead of guessing, I can filter. Let's say I'm a plumbing and maintenance business based in Gauteng. I come in here and I filter by sector, water and sanitation. Then I narrow it down by province. Let's assume I'm in Gauteng. Immediately, I start seeing live tenders. Opportunity doesn't start when the speech ends. It starts when you start searching properly. www.tendercentral.co.za. Link is in the description box below. Let's get back to the video.
So what CSD is, it's not a tender portal. CSD is a database of suppliers, not a database for tenders. So the procurement departments, the SCM departments look for you as a supplier and invite you to bid, right? So it hasn't been optimized yet where you can search for tenders and any open opportunities there. So if you are looking actively for those opportunities, you can go into eTenders, which is another portal where all of the open tenders are, and then you could filter according to industry and location. So CSD for now is just your own house where you will host your profile in order for you to have the visibility and to maintain what's happening within your company so that you can be picked up as a supplier by the procurement departments.
So there's a funding company called Sourcefin, and a shout out to them for sponsoring this episode. But they recently launched a new platform called TenderCentral. And I think they leaned into the frustration a lot of small businesses have around finding a tender that's right for the business. So there are a few platforms. I think the frustration for SMMEs is a lot of them are guarded by subscription fees, and you're literally about to access the tender. You search for the tender, you say, I want to bid, access the documents, and then there's a subscription-based model. What's nice about the Sourcefin model is because they're already partnering on the tender, they're actually opening up TenderCentral to SMMEs, which is great. And the nice thing is it's free forever. So, that's a nice way for you to access all of the tenders, get access to the documents, and take it from there. Now let's assume Lerato has found TenderCentral. She's put together a profile, she's opened it up, and she's typed in cleaning services, and there's an unbelievable opportunity sitting, waiting for her. Take me through the tender bid process. What does that look like? I've heard bad things. I've heard it takes forever, it's very admin heavy. Some people actually just have full departments that are putting tender documents together. Give me just a high-level view of what a small business could expect when it comes to putting together a bid for a tender.
All right. So once you have found this amazing tender, Lerato, the first thing you have to do is do your due diligence, right? So platforms like TenderCentral, of course, have validated that this is actually legit. Because previously the tendering space was just played with scams and people losing money, so much so that it lost credibility. And some people are just like, it's a scam, And you often talk yourself out of amazing things that can come up for your business. So do your due diligence and actually verify. How do you verify? Simple. You go into that department's website and you'll be able to see the open tenders. You Google the actual tender. You're already on the internet, so just go a step further and validate it like that. You also have an opportunity to call into the department to make sure that, hi, you guys said you're looking for carpets. Is this what's happening? Awesome. Great, right? First step, Lerato would have to do, validate that. Once it has been validated, go through the TORs. Before you even think about,
you've got to give me what that means.
Okay,
what is
terms of reference?
Okay,
right?
Terms of reference.
What we are looking for, what you're going to be scored on. Because remember, it is a bid and it's a competition. It's like you playing the lotto. What are your numbers, right? So you have to look, okay, would I be able to at least pass and meet the threshold so that I'm shortlisted, for the second round? Oftentimes when it comes to tenders and how you actually get awarded a tender, there are two sittings that take place, right? But we'll get to that at the end. So you look at the terms of reference, what it is that we have to deliver, how I'm going to be scored. Do they need anything from my side? Maybe a CV? Are they going to vet how long I've been doing this? Are they going to look at my company history, right? And they tell you if you have more than 3 years operating at one point, that point system, how it works. So you have to be able to at least have an idea that I have a good chance of getting this. Otherwise, you're just bidding in what? In hope.
Yes.
And we spoke about hope. You waste your time. You need to bid with clarity and intention, right? There's no point of you trying to take an opportunity where you can already see that you're just a small fish in a big pond. It's not going to work. And by chance, by luck, prayer and fasting, it's not going to work, right? So already you have an understanding of what they're looking for. There are very high-level tenders out there that you can already see that they're looking for highly experienced companies because of the way the job or the contract has been structured. So you obviously are like, okay, I don't have this 10 years of experience. Maybe let me sit this one out and look for ones that are within my scope and my scale. So that's the first thing that you need to do, because you're not going to be filling out 15 tenders a week, thinking that, oh no, Jedd might actually turn the other cheek. It's a point system. So your compliance, right? Because of course there are deliverables that have to be submitted. Make sure that you have all those documents so that you can just attach them. Like I said, stay ready, so you don't have to get ready. Because if the tender closes tomorrow and you're still waiting for a tax clearance, it's not going to work, right? And you need to know timelines, understand timelines. RFQs have to be advertised for about 21 days before they close. So they give you time to sort yourself out, to get the proper pricing, the quotations, for you to vet. So, just get everything in order so that you can put together a quality bid. So you need to have an understanding, okay, this is what's required, this is how I'm going to maximize the time so that I'm not coming off as unprepared, because you are not there to defend yourself. As soon as you submit, the document does the talking for you. So if you must put together a proposal, go and refine your company profile, whatever it is that they ask for, you have enough time, right? So a lot of us are always in panic mode because it was also a desperation, because you're like, I need the money. And one thing about money, it hates desperation. That energy that you approach a business deal with, when you're calm, you will get it, right? Even though you are panicking in the inside, you never show the other person that, or they're just going to sense, and then they're just going to overpower you, right? It's just the rules of the game, how it works. So first step, you do your due diligence. Second step, you go through the TORs, decide, is this something that can work for my business? Third step, you make sure that your compliance is up to date. Then you take the step to put together the bid. So the thing that step 1, 2, 3 can be done in a day. Then you literally have the rest of the time to put together, look for suppliers, look for quotations, compare, work on your pricing, complete the tender. Some people are disqualified over very minute things, like you didn't initial every page. You were supposed to sign on the other, but you didn't sign. Then you're just like, had I just given it more time or paid attention, it would have, perhaps I would have had a different outcome. So that is the fourth step, I'd say. Then you put it together and then you submit. Okay. Once it gets to the other side, right? Remember, there's always an end user. Even though you get it from procurement, the tender from procurement, the end user has to put together a committee. Now, there is a bid evaluation committee that has to sit on first level to assess if in order to shortlist, right? Based on what? That scope and the TRs and how you interpreted the tender. And then once you've been shortlisted on that, it goes to a higher level now to the end user to say, here are the nominees, and this is who we think can best execute. And then it's also vetted on that level. Then you get that performance.
Who is the end user? Can you give me an example?
All right. So in a cleaning setting, the end user would be the facilities manager.
Okay.
Yes, the expert. Yeah. So that would be someone who goes to a supply chain and say, look, we're looking for deep cleaning. Can you put together a tender for us? And then, but there's always an end user. Supply chain is not the end user, guys.
Makes sense. I suppose that's the one that's expecting the service to be delivered.
Yes.
So they do need to be happy with whoever's been appointed.
Sure.
Okay. Let's assume that it's gone through those processes and Lerato is the one. Lerato's cleaning business is the one. What does that look like? How do you get told? How do you get appointed? What's a scam? What's not a scam? And we've seen lots of fake purchase orders come through where people are actually paying suppliers and delivering goods that go missing because there's fraud within the tender itself. How does Lerato make sure that this is a legitimate tender that's been awarded to her? What type of documents, what type of conversation should she expect to have?
Yeah. Remember, I did say second step is the due diligence, right? So in order for Lerato to even avoid all of that, she should have not already vetted that the legitimacy of the tender in the second step. But let's say we did all of that, we feel like we're comfortable, right? So once you receive a PO, right, or an award letter, you should absolutely have a contact person there, right? So you have the contact person from supply chain that you're communicating with and you have full access to. A scammer, number one, would put pressure on you to deliver. Number one. Number two, a scam would have or even recommend a supplier. And of course, you go to that supplier because what they're asking of you is like very unique. It's just like something like this, like, okay, you can only get it from one place. So this is how they usually get you, because they ask for something so unique and you're like, oh my gosh,
this is our recommended supplier.
Yeah, this
He'll
is our
sort you
recommended
out.
supplier. And if you understand procurement practices, they're not supposed to do that, right? Some tenders come through and they have pictures, you know, and you're just like, okay, why you showing me the picture? No, it should be clean and clear and fair and fair. So that's what it would do. So the pressure that will come through. And you'll find that the supplier is, it's quite too good to be true, to the point that they'll even say, oh no, we'll deliver on your behalf. Oh, so you never ever get in contact with the product. You never see what you have to deliver. Because this person has just said, no, we can even scratch out whatever it is that you want. And actually, you don't even have to go and pay us directly. You can hear my banking details, you know. So there's a certain level of like these practices that will come through that will actually have to, you know, ring the alarms in your mind, like this is not how it usually works, right? And you have a gut, guys. Honestly, there are some people who genuinely don't know, who are beginners, but when it does happen that you're feeling like something is off, then it means something is off, right? So you pick up that there are these practices that will be happening within that entire process, with like, and they'll be pressuring you to send you emails. Hi, do you still want to buy this? Do you still want to buy? Are you sure you're going to order? Hi, within 2 days. So the timing, number one, and the manner of engagement will just ring alarms and will be a red flag. And you will also feel that this is not how business should be conducted. And then that's how you'll be able to see that, no, this is not fine. So even the amount of time that you get the PO, you can't submit today, then on today's a Wednesday, then on Friday you get a PO. Never. Especially if you understand how procurement works and government departments, how they work. It, just like in general in South Africa, everything takes time, right? So that 21 days, you must expect it to be something to be a timeline that actually takes place before you get an award letter. Yeah.
Yes, award letter goes into PO, which is purchase order. My understanding of a purchase order is it's a legally binding. Once you've signed it, you have said, I will deliver this at this date, at this time, to this quality or this spec, right? I think that's my understanding of PO. It's not an option. It's not like, please, could you deliver this in 3 weeks' time? You have to, and you have legally committed to it. And I think there are penalties if you don't deliver. I would love to hear, what are the consequences if an SMME fails to deliver on a tender?
In terms of ever trading with that agency or that department, that relationship would be severed forever. You become disqualified, you lose your reputation, you're never ever going to be considered for another opportunity because you've wasted our time. And sometimes because of what you've signed, you actually might be forced, you can't get out of the contract because you're bound within those terms. At that point, you're excited. Oh my gosh, I got the tender, hey, we're rich. And then, like I said, the smoke all fades away, and now it's you having to deal with the tender, right? And you find that I've bitten off more than I could chew, and I now have to go back and say, sorry guys, I can't do it. You cannot back out of that because it is a legally binding document.
What are some of the reasons an SMME would struggle to deliver on a tender?
Yes, financial reasons most of the time. And financial reasons also tie into capacity. You don't have the skill set. You don't have the people that can help you with the skill set. You probably got that tender under very suspicious circumstances. So tenders will expose all of that. That's why you find that people come through, oh, I got a tender. Can I get purchase order funding? Oh, I'm under pressure. I have a 7-day turnaround time. Yeah. So already you're in panic mode. So those are the reasons. And because, like I said, you've used tenders as an income opportunity, but not as a means to build a client base, not as a means to grow your business and to expose it to bigger contracts.
Yeah, I think I was expecting the answer to be financial related. being the big one. And it makes sense. Lerato bids on a tender, maybe doesn't think through, if I win this. Or Lerato goes, I'm going to bid for 5 tenders. I'm going to probably win one. All of a sudden, Lerato wins 3 and the capacity is just not there. Capacity in terms of people on the ground, maybe trusted and reliable suppliers, and maybe funds to execute. Because you're not getting deposits, or from you're delivering first, and then their payment terms as well.
Nice one. You made it all the way to the end of the video. And now the focus shifts to you. You're early. This channel has less than 500 subscribers, and we're only just getting started. The Great Enabler podcast was built to share real wisdom from people who've actually built businesses, so that more entrepreneurs like you can grow something meaningful. If that resonates with you, subscribe and join us. Let's build this platform together. Be one of the early adopters and join the first 1,000 club.